need a little sunshine in my mornings to get me started on the right foot. I kick my legs free from under my duvet and have a little stretch, my body debating whether it was ready to leave the warm bed I've been cocooned in for the past 9 hours. While it mulls over the notion of a Wednesday morning, I pull my fingers through my dark brown hair, untangling the knots as I go. My wavy barnet was glossy and smooth when I went to bed last night, so God knows what I did in my sleep for it to get into such a frizzy, dishevelled and alarming state. Birds could nest in there and I wouldn't have a clue. Well, until they started tweeting, obviously. Then I'd probably have a mad panic and vow to stay on top of having my hair relaxed every few months while smacking my head to get them out. I take my hands to my pale, sleepy face to catch a mammoth yawn and leave them there, my fingers pulling at my puffy cheeks and skin, taking note of the spot that seems to have invaded my chin in my sleep. I decided against freeing my face of makeup residue last night and slept in it instead. Pure laziness. It was easier to just dive under my warm duvet than spend 2 minutes wiping it off with a cold wipe. So no doubt my mascara, I use a crap one that seems incapable of staying on my lashes, is smeared all around my dark brown eyes in a rather unattractive manner. Thank goodness I'm waking up alone and not having to greet some hunk in this state. Every cloud and all that. Brett last, I think to myself as my body reaches out for another stretch, my long limbs sweeping across the double bed, leaving me in a star shape. How odd that he should make a fleeting cameo appearance in my dream. I haven't seen him for, 9 or 10 years? And even then, I spent the majority of my first year at university roaring drunk, didn't we all? I'm surprised I didn't kill off all the brain cells holding the details of Brett's scrummy face, although even in my conscious state I still can't quite place him. Weird. Dermot's appearance is fairly self-explanatory, as I'm an X Factor junkie and was up late last night catching up on the previous weekend show. I've been staying at my mum and dad's when it was actually on, and they abhor reality shows that pull on the heartstrings of the public like they're fools. I'm quite happy to be part of that foolish public. Long may Simon Cowell reign over us with his genius television shows. And then there's Jonathan's blue hair. The thought of my straight-laced and miserable-faced boss doing anything of the sort is enough to make me chuckle as I drag my sorry ass from the warmth of my bed and into my bathroom. Finally committing to getting the day underway, ridding my face of the smudged dark makeup and investigating that pesky spot. There are 2 ways I can get to Bethnal Green tube station from my flat. I can walk along the canal, or I can go via the park. Both offer pretty epic scenery, which I do try to absorb when my mind isn't preoccupied with work or some life drama. Although if I venture through the park, I'm more likely to have to pass all the secondary school children hanging around outside the gates once you've come out the other side. I'm great with kids. Love them, in fact. But I was a total moron at school as I longed for guys to find me attractive and girls to like me. I definitely hung out with the less cool kids in my class. This is something I'm fine with now that I'm older, wiser, and I've realised there's more to life than Richard Taylor's butterfly-inducing smile and Michelle Lewin's approval of my hairstyle. However, there's something about boys and girls of that age that freaks me out and makes me feel vulnerable. It's as though I'm back in school and 14 years old again, nervous of their attention. I want to turn around and scream at them. I went to uni and became popular. I have friends, plus loads of guys fancy me. Slight exaggeration on that front, and not something any of these kids are remotely interested in hearing from a complete stranger, but nonetheless, my unresolved teenage angst makes me walk the ever so slightly longer route to the tube. And having dreamt of the barge cafe on the canal last night, there was no way I could traipse by without going in and getting myself a little treat, even if it does mean I'll be a couple of minutes late. Okay, fine, by the time I make it to the tube, it's down to 7 stops on the Central Line and get to the office in Soho, I'm 10 minutes late. But as I wander to my desk with my lukewarm skinny latte in hand and my Bakewell tart, clearly I have more willpower in my dreams, no one seems to mind. Even my boss Jonathan seems unbothered. I spy him in his glass cubicle scoffing down an apricot Danish pastry, something I know his wife Deanne would tell him off for. He's meant to be watching his sugar levels now that he's been diagnosed with diabetes, but the amount of food I know he has stuffed away in his drawers, along with the sight of his burgeoning tummy, suggests he's doing anything but. He clearly doesn't need my help straight away, unless it's to pick up more sugary treats, so I remove my black coat, unwrap my multicoloured scarf, and peel off my emerald wool jumper. It's freezing outside, meaning I had no alternative.